man, that music, it just gets me going. Gets me going.
In the mood.
It gets you in the mood, gets me in the mood to talk some Blazers. We are here, Rip City Roundtable podcast. It is November. Look at my watch here. November 5th.
That's right.
We have myself, obviously, Corey Dickman, host, and I'm just going to call you co-host, really, at this point, Aaron.
Oh, that's way too generous.
I think we need to work that out with your agent to get you on here full time. Aaron, the Dr. Brown, joins us. We've been friends for 30 years. No, yeah. Maybe.
I mean, that's probably older than.
Do we want to say?
A little high, but it's been a while.
Been a long time. I guess our shtick is we're Blazers fans that both live in Texas. I live in Waco. You live in Dallas. So if you're new to the show, that's our thing. We've been best friends for a long time, and we're Blazer fans living in Texas. So that's pretty much it. Aaron, let's start off. So the Blazers right now, we sit 4-3. 4 wins, 3 losses. Truly a heartbreaking loss against the Lakers the other night.
Okay, we're gonna start there.
Well, we can start at the beginning. And you'll see where I'm going with this. Yep. Is that's probably the first time, honestly, in about 2 years where I genuinely couldn't sleep because of the loss. Because really the last 2 seasons haven't mattered, if we're being honest. Like maybe some cup games, I was like kind of secretly hoping maybe we could win the NBA Cup, and that would be fun last season. But this one stung, Aaron, because the Lakers were right there with us in the standings. I know when we talk about standings, we're 7 games in the season. But 4-3, the team sits 4-3, heartbreaking loss to the Lakers. Aaron, give us an assessment of the team thus far, of the games you've watched, what you're seeing. What are you thinking right now?
Yeah, I think you touched on it. It's been kind of a fun start to the year. There've been some good games, and the team has played well. It's been fun to watch them. The games that I've caught, they're fun to see, and we had some good wins there. Wins that I don't think we expected in the past. The game against Denver comes to mind as one that was probably the highlight of the year for me so far.
Oh, incredible. Incredible.
But yeah, then you look 4-3, it's like, oh man, we're still just kind of middle of the pack right now. Yeah. It's early, obviously. There's still, a couple pieces missing. But the team has been playing well. I think you touched on it on your little summary last week. 4 out of 5 starters are playing very well, and
yep.
And we could go more into that, but I
sure.
was in agreement with you on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Up until that Lakers game, I was feeling really good about the team. The Lakers game made me not so good.
Yeah, it was just a weird game. I think it highlighted truly our weakness as a team right now. You look at when we start on the defensive side of the ball, and then particularly our perimeter defenders are probably, this isn't hyperbole. I mean, they're the best in the NBA. I don't think there's a better collection between Matisse Thybulle, Drew Holiday, obviously Tumani, Blake Wesley. I mean, these guys are get after it defenders. And then even your next tier down, Shaden, Denny is a good defender, decent defender. They're not slouches. They try hard. There's a lot of hustle with Shaden and Advia. I don't think there's a better perimeter. I mean, OKC, you could say every guy on that team can play defense. So maybe they're above Portland, but I mean, our perimeter defense, but it's the center position, and we love Klingon, and Donovan has been playing really well. Obviously, we got Rob back against the Lakers, so we should have probably been fine, but it was Rui at the forward spot, and then stupid DeAndre Ayton, which you knew was going to come back and have a good game. They killed us, and then that guard off the bench, and I'm blanking on his name right now, that no one knew who he was for the Lakers, has scored 25 points.
Laravia? Is that Laravia?
Not Laravia. It was oh my gosh, if I think I can
the one off the bench.
Yeah, he came off the bench, but Aaron, it was the center spot that hurt us. It was the interior defense, and so I think we would have rolled in that game, but we just got hurt there.
Yeah, I think that was a concern going into the season. You know, it was going to be leaning very heavily on Klingon making a jump in only his second year, and then Jan Hansen being able to give you minutes, which I don't think he played in that game, if I remember correctly. I didn't see it, but
yeah,
I didn't see him come in. So, like, you know, that's a lot to put on the anchor of your defense to have guys with one combined year of experience.
Yeah, that's hard. Nick Smith, that's who went off for the Lakers off the bench.
Smith, okay.
Nick Smith was the answer to the question.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. But anyway, I think the perimeter defense is strong. The interior defense, you know, Klingon is still learning. Jan, you know, it's a young team. Rob was good to see him out on the court. Again, Aaron, I think the lens in which I watch these games now has changed this season because it's like, oh my gosh, I want to compete and win games. And in the past, I would have seen Rob on the floor and I would have been like, play him 8 minutes and trade him before he gets hurt. Now I'm like, hey, let's get some solid minutes and let's just be healthy for the team, not to trade you, but to be healthy. And he makes such an impact. I think it was just a weird Laker game, Aaron. I think they you know, it's hard sometimes to prepare for a team with none of their good players, which I know sounds silly. We played this team a week ago, and so I think there was some familiarities there. But outside of that Laker game, it's been a good season. You said highlights have been obviously the Nuggets game was amazing. If you missed that, go watch highlights of it. There was actually a funky, you know, in the beginning of that game, the clock malfunctioned. I don't know if you remember this. The first it happened in the first quarter. It was like a 50-minute delay. Like it was just. Oh,
no, I missed the first quarter. That makes sense. That's why it was on so late.
Yeah, that's why I was on so late. So it was such a weird game. But to see the Blazers like we fight, get to the end, you know, Tumani, like huge defense in that final defensive series for us. And then Jeremy Grant getting the benefit of the doubt on a foul call. It's very rare in a tied game like that to get a foul call when you're not Jokic or Luka or whoever, right? Were you surprised that Jeremy Grant got the free throws to win that game?
I mean, yeah, of course. We're just not used to seeing those calls go our way, not for a while. But you know, I thought it was a fair call, it was a good call, and not. I didn't think it was anything outrageous. It felt natural in the flow of the game, like that he gets that call because it seemed pretty obvious.
Yeah, I think in a vacuum, like for sure was a foul. I just was surprised in a tied game against Denver in a cup game that Jeremy Grant got that call. Like what does that say? Or does that even say anything? Am I overreacting to just that moment there, Aaron? Like, did it really not mean anything? It was a foul. Give him the free throws.
Yeah, I think I have two mindsets. It is surprising to get a call in that moment, but it also wasn't like a driving to the bucket, lots of contact, you know, it was on a jump shot, right? So, so those ones, I feel like they're a little more obvious. There's more space. The refs can see it easier. So it's like almost they have to call those. I don't know.
I'm with you. Are you surprised? Well, this is a bad question because you're going to say yes. I guess I'm just going to ask you. Are you surprised Jeremy Grant is averaging 20 points a game coming off the bench for the Blazers?
Now I'm tempted to say no because you told me I'm going to say yes. I think the start has been surprising. It's worked better than I thought it was going to. I'll say it that way, right? Like, I just didn't know with him coming off the bench how that was going to flow, what the offense was going to look like, and it has worked better than I thought. He's put in really good minutes from there. The team has been shooting very well. I didn't pull up the percentages, but I feel like the shot making has been better than last year, which was a struggle. Hopefully that continues.
I think it will. Sorry, I was looking at. I have the Laker game going on. The Laker Blazer game highlight. I was looking at the end. Yeah, I think the efficiencies, 3-point shooting has been a little hit or miss. The first game of the season against the Timberwolves, the team was atrocious. And then it's kind of leveled out since then. I think Shaden, you alluded to this at the top of the show where, the 4 of the 5 starters. When I did my last episode last week, I thought, hey, they're playing pretty well, except Shaden, which I think he heard. Clearly he listens to the show because he has played better. I think his scoring has been a little bit more efficient. The hustle is there, man. He's getting steals. He's not giving up on the defensive end. And so head coach that shall not be named, I think drilled into Shaden enough last season. You got to hustle on defense if you're going to want to stay on the court. And I think he's been able to do that. I'm liking the improvement that I've seen from Shaden, at least the last 7 or probably the last 3 games.
Yeah, since that episode. Yeah, I could agree with that. I think that is the guy that we're looking to be that shot creator when things get tight, and it wasn't there. Like the Timberwolves game to me was like a very good example for the opener, right? We played very well. We controlled that whole game. And then down the stretch, we let them hang, and Anthony Edwards hits a shot to win that game. And we did not have the same guy to make that shot at the end of the game. And that has to be what Shaden's role is going to be. Because I don't know that that's Denny's game, although Denny, I think, is playing very, very well. Like just what we were expecting. We're hoping like all-star level play this year, and he could get there. But he's not the shot creator at the end of a game type of player.
No, and his strong suit is creating contact and getting foul calls. And at the end of a game, the refs will swallow that whistle. They're not going to give Denny the benefit of the doubt there. So you need a guy like Shaden that can get any shot on the court he wants, that mid-range jumper, which he just needs to get better and better and better at, which he's already great at that. But that's the kind of shot you want from a guy to close out a game. So yeah, man, I think that he's heeding the call. I like that him and Denny went to, I think it was a Portland Timbers game the other night. Like they're hanging out together, Aaron. Like they're buddies. I like it.
That's good.
That's what you want to see as a fan. Our 2 better players, friends off the court. Like nothing warms my heart more than that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're recording this on a Wednesday, right? November 5th. Most likely this episode drops tomorrow. In the future, November 6th is when most people are going to listen to this. So this question I'm going to ask you, it's easy to tell if you're wrong or right, Aaron. But tonight,
oh boy,
we get the real true test of the season. Okay, the Nuggets on Friday in a cup game, that was a good test. But tonight, the Thunder come into town. How do you think this game's going to go? If you had to look in your crystal ball, what's going to be maybe not even a win-loss outcome, but how does this game play out for you?
It's very hard to fight the urge to just, be a homer and say like, we're going to win the game because, that's what we're rooting for. Sure. So the Thunder, they're 8-0. They've not really lost a step from last year. They have all these guys filling in for their guys that are missing, and they're playing really well. Yep. I think it is a good test, regardless of the outcome, how we play this game, right? This is, we want to see them compete and be close, win or lose. Anything can happen. We could win the game. I think we can match up with them. I think we can play them. We're not at the place where we're taking them in a 7-game series, but tonight I'm hoping we win.
Yeah. A 1-game take all. Let's give them their first loss of the season. I feel, there was a time where it was like always nice to stick it to the Thunder, because they're in our division, used to be the Sonics. So I've always kind of felt like we want to, and then it just got so like out of balance. We just weren't even competing in those games. So it didn't really matter. Aaron, I would go as far as to say we already have won because the spread on this is only 4.5 points. And I don't know the last time a spread has been 4.5 Blazers versus Thunder. So I think we've already gotten the first check mark there, but we'll see how the game plays out. I think our guys will get up for it. I think we have so. Yeah, I think we have a team that I think they're going to be upset about how they played in that Laker game. They should have won. They were favored to win, and they probably feel like they kind of choked that game away. So I bet you tonight is going to have a little revenge from the other night. And let's go. I think this is a win for the Blazers. I think, and not even a homer. I mean, I am a homer, but I think even if I was just on the outside looking in, give me Blazers. Easily Blazers plus 4.5. So easily that. So are you still, from what you've seen so far through 7 games, which one of these buckets are you in? Okay, you got to pick a bucket. Are you, let's make a deep run and like playoffs, the real playoffs? That's our goal. Is it, hey, let's just get to the play-in and get some experience? Or let's go one more season into the draft lottery and we should tank for a high draft pick because we could retain our pick that we would be giving to Chicago. Which bucket are you in so far through these first 7 games?
Well, I think in the first 7 games, you got to still be in the let's compete. I want to see this team compete and play. I know the smart answer is probably we probably do need to hit on the draft lottery of like we just need a top 10, 15 guy at some point. If this team wants to have championship aspirations,
true,
you have to get a top 10 guy somewhere, right?
True.
But I do think experience would benefit this team for where they're at. I think there is something to be said about that. I think you can kind of do both in the West this year with how stacked it seems to be.
Yeah. We
could compete and still miss or barely miss the playoffs and still be like a 500 team. So I don't know where we'll end up. It's kind of crazy how evenly stacked the league is this year at least in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess that puts me in the let's get some experience in the playoffs.
Okay. I'm all for that. I mean, if you could just say we want what Dallas did last year was make the play-in, had they won 46 games or whatever they won, lost in the play-in, and then get the number 1 pick. Like, let's do that. Let's do it.
We did give them DeAndre Ayton, right? So that's how that works. You give them a player for nothing and you get the first draft pick, right?
That's true. If you give the Lakers a player for nothing, you get the number 1 pick. Yeah. I feel like Luka and Ayton, they're on the same playing field. They were in the same draft together. Ayton was picked first. Yeah, Ayton was first.
He's better than
we get 2 picks.
Better than Luka.
Yeah, he's better than Luka. He's better. You know what? It was interesting seeing him on the other side. Because those mid-range jumpers, every time he took one, he made it. And I remember, when Ayton was good, gosh, he was so, entertaining to watch in that sense, in that small vacuum.
I'm sure he was locked in to play the Blazers. Congrats, you get him for, 5 games a year, Lakers.
Yeah.
He's locked in.
Yeah. I loved watching the little slights between him and Klingon. You could see it was playful. There was a couple times between him and Rob where they kind of hit each other on the butt or something, And so you could tell, Ayton, I think, cared the most about that game, and then probably, doesn't care for the next 20 games. And then, who cares? But, well, I think I'm with you. This team is so fun to watch. As far as the defensive intensity, the pace they play with, it's truly not just because we've been starving to watch winning basketball for a while now, but it really is a fun team. Outside of, those teams with Lillard that were so entertaining, especially when they went down the stretch of games, close games, and you just felt like Dame was going to hit a shot, or those great teams that should have won with Brandon and LaMarcus, Wesley, or Brandon, LaMarcus, Odin, if he hadn't got hurt, that second tier with LaMarcus and Batum and stuff. But this team is I think a lot of fun to watch. And I think we're going to make some noise, Aaron. I think we can fit the no one wants to play this team in the playoffs thing. That every one team gets that a year. I think this could be the Blazers as a 7 seed. You know,
Yeah.
I think like the Nuggets end up with the 2 seed. They're like, we don't want to play Portland. You know, maybe even OKC is like, gosh, that's going to be, even if we sweep, even if the Blazers get swept, it's going to be defense for 94 feet the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
And no one wants to play that. That's frustrating. So I'm all about it. Let's go for the win. I'm tired of trying to tank for draft picks that we never get a top pick anyway. We never do. And when we do, they get hurt. They get hurt when we do. So
yeah, and it's tough. Like, I feel like we haven't had very good draft luck, obviously, because we've just kind of missed out on the wave. Like this year, it looks like there was several really good players coming out of the draft already that have made a big splash, and we weren't in that bottom barrel for this year. And then previous years, we've all just kind of just outside the window of what you need. So it has been kind of unfortunate. That's why I'm like hesitant to be like, well, we kind of need another dip because we just haven't hit yet.
I know. Yeah. Man, that Cedric, the guy that we traded Jan for basically to Memphis on draft night. Yeah. He looks so good. That guy is a man. And if you watch any of the Grizzlies games, I'm like, shoot, he would have fit perfectly on this team. Just perfect. I'm not giving up on Hansen. If we're going to pretend for a second that he's going to be our Jokic, it took Jokic a few years to get there. And so I don't think we expect Jan Hansen to be making an all-star game this season. But you're right. It still does kind of suck because I think there are a lot of good draft picks in this, or rookies in that draft class. And I just think Jan's not going to get the playing time. Which is fine. Play G League, go to remix games. Aaron, if we were in Portland right now, you and I would be going to Portland remix games because I want to see Jan Hansen playing 35 minutes a night for that team. I bet you it's electric. It'll be so entertaining. It's almost worth trying to cover a game just to watch it. So anyway, so looking at the team now. We have the Scoot. I say the point guard dilemma. Okay, I want to ask you this question. So you have Scoot Henderson, who's obviously going to come back sooner than Lillard is going to, but you have these 2 point guards. How do you see both of them fitting in? Obviously, Scoot more in a short term. He's coming back. Dame more for next season. Can you see these guys molding into the unit? To the starting lineup or off the bench or the style of play we have right now? Or do you think it's going to be kind of a funky fit for either of them?
That's a great question. I do think that's too soon to say on Lillard just because I don't know like what level he comes back at. We just don't know, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what his role is going to look like. Like, can he be a focal point of an offense? I don't know.
Yeah.
I would guess not based on history of the injury and everything. So then is he going to take a role that's more knockdown shooter or like what, or I just have no idea. Scoot, since he's coming back sooner, that is a more pressing question on how that's going to fit and what those rotations are going to look like. I thought I've actually been really surprised how well Drew Holiday has played and like, the impact he's had on the team has been kind of amazing to watch. So like you kind of don't want to mess with that. And so then does that mean, okay, so Scoot's now coming off the bench and then what does that look like? How much is the ball in his hands? He kind of needs the ball in his hands, but that takes it out of Jeremy Grant's hands off the bench. So like what, there's a lot to work out. Thiago's got his work cut out for him. So we'll see. I don't envy Thiago and what decision that is. I think going into the season, I figured Drew would start until Scoot got healthy. But you're right, Drew has been playing remarkable. He clearly cares about being in Portland, regardless of what all the reports were when he got traded. He's in it, and he's like a vet we haven't had in a while, and it's fun to see him play, and it's fun to see him like take and make the shots that he does. It feels like the old man at the YMCA that hits those shots that you just know are going to go in.
I've enjoyed watching Drew. I bet he'd be fine going to the bench. I don't think he cares. So maybe he goes to a bench unit and Scoots. We need to see him start. We need to see what we have. I feel like we've said that now for going on 3 years. But we need to know.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like I think Scoot needs to prove it to get in there. I don't think he should get the start until he shows the level of play that he gets to take that spot from. He needs to take it from Drew.
Okay.
That's how I'd do it.
Okay. He needs to take it. Okay. Yeah. I'm with you. I think in the situation like it is now, I can see that. I think it was so frustrating last season. Again, coach that shall not be named should have just started the guy. Like we should have just seen Scoot start on a team that wasn't going to make the playoffs or the play-in, so that we're not sitting here trying to guess what we still have.
Sure. Yeah. We've discussed that before.
We've discussed that. We're not going to go down the road. So I would say you're probably right. Maybe Scoot comes off the bench. I think he fits in really well. I think Scoot fits in better than I see Dame. Even like if it was the Dame of old, again, obviously the offense would be amazing, but this team is built around its perimeter defense. And I don't know how Dame fits into that because he's such a weak link there. Mm-hmm. Some of our lineups, Aaron, at least in the first 3 or 4 games, it was like that small ball Thunder lineup where like every guy is like, 6'3", 6'4", can interchange switch on defense, and that makes it so exciting. I don't know where Lillard fits in. I have no idea how to fit Dame back into this picture. Scoot, he's going to get at it and hustle. I can see Scoot being with this team. I want Dame to fit, Aaron. I want Dame to be a 25-point scorer again, but I don't know right now. But I know that's so far down the road.
That's a ways down the road.
It's ways down the road. So, but I'm excited. I don't know. I imagine Scoot's getting close to coming back. Anytime it's a hamstring thing, that's always scary. But I think that it'll be good to see him. So I think our conclusion here is we're excited the team's playing well. I think there's been a lot of pluses across the board, from Jeremy Grant coming off the bench to Drew Holiday being a contributor from the starting lineup to maybe seeing some improvement from Shaden to probably you and I saying Denny is he our best player right now?
I would say that right now, yeah.
Best player right now. I would agree there. Klingon, I think, has taken steps. I think he got a little exposed.
I did want to say a little. Yeah, last night's game aside, watching Klingon play, you can see he's stronger. He's more stable. He looks like confident with like in every phase of the game, offense, defense. I've really been impressed with his improvement from last year. That is probably the thing that stood out the most. I didn't mention it before, but in terms of just a contrast from if you watch tape side by side of the two, it's pretty jarring.
Yeah.
So good on him for putting in the work.
Good on him for putting on the work. He cares. The thing that jumps off the screen the most when I watch the Blazers play is they just want to win. Klingon's a winner, right? 2-time champion in college basketball. He's yelling on defense. He's arguing calls. He wants to be out there. He's not just going through the motions. And I think that's the thing that sometimes jumps about. Shaden's just so calm and cool that it seems like he doesn't really care as much. But you got Denny yelling, you got Tumani yelling, you got Klingon yelling. It's just that's what I get fired up watching the game. Aaron, I've been trying this new thing this year. So I've been trying to work out. And I'm going to use quotations for people that aren't watching this on YouTube. It's workout. It's just trying to get active. So we have this Peloton that we bought years ago that we never use.
Fancy.
I know, we're so fancy. Never, ever. This thing has been used probably 10 times between my wife and I. But I've been trying to ride it at night, and I'll watch the games. And it's kind of been this nice rhythm. And I find myself kind of running out of breath because I'm I'm freaking out. I'm yelling at the thing. I'm getting into it. And it's because I see these guys fired up, so it fires me up. So I think that's my favorite aspect of this team. And I think Klingon's a huge reason of what gets me going, because I watch him, I watch his play, I see how much he's into it, and that's been really exciting. So
this is I like this idea. The scientist in me wants to get like a chart of your activity on the bike and then overlay it with highlights of a Blazers game and see if we can match. Did Corey's activity go up when they hit that 3 to take the lead? When Klingon gets a block, is Corey suddenly speed increased about?
Absolutely. Anytime like Tumani gets a charge, I'm freaking out. Like it's just like, because he's just so good at it now, and it's wild that he's year 2 and he can just get these charges and offensive fouls called against him or on him. It's just brilliant. So yeah, Aaron, I bet you my pulse goes that way up. Yeah,
we need to see this data.
Okay, you can hook me up, and I could be a science project. So.
All right.
Well, cool. Well, Aaron, any final thoughts? Anything we didn't cover today that you wanted to touch on? You know, you're on the Rip City Roundtable podcast, the most popular Blazers podcast on the planet. You're here. You're here.
It is an honor to be here. Of course, you know, you're doing a great job getting this content out for the Blazers fans. I think, you know, the fans are hungry for some Blazers success. You and I clearly are hungry for some Blazers success. We're gonna watch the Thunder's game tonight.
Yep.
Let's go take it to them. No other thoughts. I think we covered everything. Just having some fun early in the season here. I hope it continues.
Love it. So we're putting it down. Blazers plus 4.5. You and I are taking that.
Yeah, I'll take that.
All right, we both take it. Great. I'll mark it down. Marked it down. All right. For myself, Corey Dickman, Aaron, the Dr. Brown, being on the Rip City Roundtable podcast on the Rogue Media Network. Aaron, our sign off, as always, it's a great day.
Great day
to be a Blazer.